Good morning. I am a frizzy hot mess. It's so warm today. And I thought I'd hop on as people ask me why I do Facebook Lives holding my camera myself. So you're on a tripod today. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. I'm just having my mushroom coffee before I head into the city to go and have a laser treatment to my face. So today I'm having my rosacea laser. It's a really exciting, quick and easy process to go through and tackles the redness to my face. I was born with very sensitive skin. I still have sensitive skin. Both of my parents and my brother have a kind of flushed red face. It's something that can't be cured, but can definitely be managed through skincare and just being super gentle, super kind to your skin. And is one of the reasons why I really don't get on well with wearing makeup. It feels very hot and restrictive, suffocating. Welcome everyone. Enoch says good morning, dear. Good morning. Pandit says hello. Thank you for joining. Where are you from and what are you up to today? So I thought I would share a coffee with you, have a chit chat and catch up, and then I'm off whizzing throughout my day. So I had a really lovely workout a moment ago. I'm still warm and sweaty from it, but it's a wonderful way to start the day. And then I'm popping into the city. I live on the outskirts of London, so just popping into Central to go and have my laser. So I will share everything with you throughout the day so that you can see what's involved. But I love that skincare is just advanced so much over the past 5 years. And when I'm posting before and after pictures from 10 years ago, people are saying like, oh, you haven't aged. I mean, I have definitely aged by a decade. But at the same time, I feel like I now know how to care for my skin and how to look the healthiest and feel the healthiest for everything to work the way that it should, because you're not damaging your skin or treating it badly or drying it out. Kirk says, you're not lying down this morning. See? Everybody says to me, if I lay down, as I would just FaceTime my friends and I'm holding my phone and I'm chatting away, they say, why do you always lay down? Why don't you sit up? And if I sit up, people say, why are you sitting up? Why don't you lay down and have a chat? So hopefully sitting up has given those people who don't like me laying down a kind of balanced perspective. And maybe next time I will lay down. You'll just have to see each time that I hop online where the mood takes me. As well, one of the things that I was talking about is my vision. So I find myself doing this sometimes because my eyes go blurry. I've had 2 laser eye surgeries in my 20s. So the first one that I had, you could have LASIK and LASIK, like with an I or an E. And it's a very similar method, but slightly different in how they behave. And your healing and recovery is quicker for one more so than the other. But you can only ever have each one once. You cannot repeat it. So I had them once each. And just when the children were growing up when I was in my 20s, I wanted to have that perfect vision because they would always pull my glasses off of my face, and contact lenses really dried out my eyes and made them uncomfortable. So yes, I now am back to squinting and wear prescription sunglasses to see in the summer, just so I can, protect my eyes. But if the camera is too far away from me, I then can't see your comments. So I have to kind of get up close and squint at you. But I still have good vision. I think I'm like minus 1.2 or something like that. It's not severely blurred, but throughout our lives, our vision will deteriorate just as everything else in the body will deteriorate. And what we can do is take care of it and do our best to prolong that longevity. So yes, I always, if I am on the camera, phone, on live, I need to have it close enough to me that I can read your comments. So that's why I normally lay down and just chat as I would to my friends on FaceTime. Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining. How are you spending today? Bandit says, very good face. Lucky. Thank you. I have a very shiny face. Oh, I'm so sweaty. My hair is sticking to me everywhere. But yes, I'm going for my laser treatment today, and it's definitely come a long way in so many years. I probably had rosacea treatment about 10 years ago, and then I've kind of left it alone, just using daily skincare as opposed to having a treatment to help with the redness and the heat in my face. But again, it's a kind of maintenance thing. As we get older, veins will come closer to the surface of our skin. That will bring more heat, that will cause more sensitivities. And when you have laser, it targets those areas, it shrinks and retracts them, pulls them deeper down into the face where they belong, rather than being so superficial. And that in turn takes away the heat and the redness from the skin. Looking at your comments, Ahmed says, looking fantastic, just so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you all for joining me. I've been creating lots of content this morning. As you may know, I'm a writer, so I write for brands around the world. I get very excited when I see things around health and fitness and nutrition, and definitely enhancing what we naturally have rather than masking and taking away. I keep hearing an advert recently, I don't know if you've heard of it, called Y2K, but it's the word Y, W-H-Y, Y2K, and it was talking about how my generation, 1987 baby, was raised on these impossible beauty standards where women had to be stick thin with peroxide white blonde hair, blue eyes, long legs. You know, I tick some of those boxes naturally, but I have got pale skin, not tanned skin. I'm Irish Hungarian, so I go white and then red as opposed to brown with a summer tan. Like, this is me at my darkest with a natural summer tan. So I would use sunbeds, I would use fake tan, I would have hair extensions, inches of makeup that they would put on me when I was in my 20s. And it just wasn't me. Like, everything that people complimented me for when they said, oh, I really like your hair. I'm like, that's not my natural hair. They say you've got nice nails, it was extensions. Like, nothing was me. And it was normal for people to hide who they were, to be unrecognizable with makeup on, not just, oh, you look nice, it's you are a different person, who are you? I don't recognize you without makeup. So it was a very unhealthy kind of opposing view to beauty, to be as fake and as made up as possible, like very glam. You had to be over the top. And I feel like that kind of transitioned into aesthetics, especially over the past 10 years, I would say. It went to the point that people were almost becoming cartoon-like, that they would have very oversized lips or oversized cheekbones, and you could tell that it wasn't natural because it almost looked desirable to be expensive, that not everybody could have such an extreme. So if you had that, you must be rich and powerful and successful. But what that actually did was take away natural beauty entirely. It took away individuality and identity and just made everybody look like kind of swollen clones. And that definitely led to a point in my life when I was modelling as a glamour model, so in bikinis and lingerie and swimwear, looking very glamorous, long eyelashes and everything. I mean, it was fun to be a part of it because I didn't know any different. But then as soon as I realised different, as soon as I realised this isn't me, I don't belong here, stepping away from that was so empowering for me. It was a strange transition to begin with because the world wasn't ready for natural beauty. It was still, if you don't wear makeup, you don't look ready, you don't look attractive, why have you left your house? You know, that kind of way that women were perceived, that if you didn't make an effort, you were unattractive. But actually, why not spend all of that time and attention that you would have put into 2 hours of making your face look glamorous? Why not put those 2 hours into a skincare routine where you can feel healthy and look good, and you're not hiding acne, you're treating the root cause, you're not covering up imperfections, you're embracing what makes you an individual. And actually, I think in a mental health way, it's so much better for women to just be themselves. And some men, you know, throughout my life, I've had different relationships, as I'm sure everybody has. Some men I found really love that glamorous look, and 24/7, even when you're cooking dinner, they want you to be glamorous and wear heels in the house and things. I get if that's someone's vibe, but also a lot of people don't want that. A lot of people say, just be vulnerable, be yourself with me, and don't get up out of bed to reapply more makeup that you can't hug or put your face on the pillow because it's all going to smudge everywhere. Just be yourself. Like, take a shower with me. It's probably something I can't say on Facebook. But, you know, just unguarded, unfiltered, wholeheartedly yourself. And when I kind of got to that point where I realised I don't need to be what somebody else wants me to be. If somebody else loves makeup, let them date someone who loves makeup. Don't make me wear makeup to be what you need me to be. And yeah, that's, I guess, a big wake-up call, that we all have our preference, and we all would say, if you are in a relationship with someone, oh, I really like if you wore this more because you look really nice in that, and I find you very attractive in that. But ultimately, it should be what the person naturally lives like, looks like, and behaves like that you are attracted to, not what you can shape them into, which isn't necessarily them. So when you are dating, do you like to date a girl who is more natural, or a woman who is more natural, or more made up and glamorous? And has your preference changed with time? I think it's something to recognise that what we wanted in our 20s may not correlate to what we want in our 30s and 40s. From, say, a girlfriend to a wife and mother, how do you view those two different aspects of womanhood? Scrolling your comments, guys. Evan says he's written quite an essay, so I don't know how much of this I can read out. Sweetheart, your comment on this page is always interesting and nice to read. Seeing your comment always gives me joy. I think someone will be interested to know more about ourselves. Can you kindly send me a friend request? I'm afraid I don't add people as friend requests. This is a page, so it like doesn't work in the same way to kind of add people like a personal profile would. But you can comment here and chat with me here, and we can share thoughts in conversation here. I don't talk privately or add or connect with people outside of my Facebook page. Ruman says, all love. Thank you. G says, sure, be yourself. So important. Ben says, what is the key to happiness, Tracy? I'll be honest, for me, it's not caring what other people think. So if I want to be silly with my children, climb a tree, or do a backflip on the monkey bars at the park, that to me is happiness. Just uncensored yourself, just to be who you are, to say what you truly think. You're not filtering or retaining what you are. You are just being you. And whatever setting you are in, you are able to be yourself. So you're not shrinking for some people or trying really hard to be okay around other people. You are just naturally at ease. And I think it only comes from removing a lot of people from your life, a lot of things. If you were to go into a restaurant and you ate every single meal on the menu, your insides would burst. It would be overload. It's too much. It's excessive. It's dangerous. You know, the calorie intake, the amount of fats that would be in that, you just physically could not do that. So why in life do we treat life as this menu, which we must have everything? Actually, what we should say is, this is my taste. I want a starter, a main, and a dessert. And that's still quite a lot to have. But I will have this friendship group, this career, and these hobbies. You don't have to do everything and please everyone. The more you try to take on, the more you try to spread yourself so thinly, you are not 100% dedicated to any of those things. You can't possibly be. And as well, when we force ourselves into the opposite of our lifestyle, when you eat the opposite of the food that you like, it's nice to try new things. Absolutely wonderful. Experiment and explore. But don't force yourself to live an opposite life, an opposing life, an unhealthy life. I speak to so many people who have deliberately done the opposite of what they like just to impress and be around other people. People who are not smokers, who will smoke at work just to be included in the conversation of the smoking area. People who are not drinkers, who will go out for drinks after work so they can spend more time around their boss in the hope that they will be promoted. They know that they don't belong there. They know that they are doing the opposite of what their freedom of choice would allow them to do. But instead, they're trying to impress others. They're trying to be what they want them to be, rather than showing up as who they are. And that's never going to end well, because eventually your walls, they're going to come down. There will be a chink in your armor, and people will see you for who you really are. And they'll say, well, you've misled me. I thought you loved smoking and drinking shots 7 days a week. Actually, you're a bookworm that stays home all the time. Like, why would you pretend that you're the opposite? And that is more of an insult, to be found out to be a liar, than just to say, oh, sorry, I don't smoke, but I'm happy to chat to you. And sorry, I don't drink, but yeah, of course I'll spend time with you. Let's do golf or something instead. I think people just need to be unapologetically themselves. And that's where true happiness comes from, because you don't then live on fight or flight high alert, always thinking, oh, people will realize who I really am and that I'm not who I say I am. If you're just being yourself, you don't have to remember lies. You don't have to keep up a pretense. And if they were to spot you in your natural habitat, living your normal life, they're not going to say, hey, wait a minute, you told me that you love smoking. Why are you at an anti-smoking campaign rally for charity or something? They won't ever catch you out being the opposite of who you portray yourself as. And I think a lot of people are just living a life where they're waiting to be caught out. They are actors. They are playing a character, a persona that is no way in relation to themselves. And that's really shocking to see. Scrolling your comments, welcome. Do you feel that you are able to be yourself at work, at home, around your friends, around your partner? And if not, why not? What is it that is preventing you from being yourself? And how does judgment feel to you? Do you take it personally if somebody says, oh, I don't like your hair color or your eye color? Or do you kind of just say, well, that's fine. I don't expect you to like X, Y, and Z about me. Personally, I have kind of learnt over the years to just detach from people's opinions, to say, well, that's their thoughts and that's their life and that's their choice. It doesn't have to be mine. And I just love living as me, like rather than masking who I am or hiding who I am or censoring who I am, just say, hey, this is me. And being in the media, being a model, an influencer, a content creator, I walk into a room of very loud people, very outrageous people, very obnoxious people, very superficial people. And instantly my heart will sink and I'll think, oh God, give me the strength to have a social battery, to be around this and adapt and kind of be okay. When inside I'm just screaming, get me out of here. Do what you came to do your job, do your work, go home. Be away from it, leave it all behind you. So yes, living on the kind of cusp of the city and the country allows me to have those two extremes in life. I reset in nature and then it gives me that bit of energy to go into the city and be around very loud, obnoxious, egotistical people. But again, I don't go to the front of the queue. I don't chase the attention. I don't try to make everything about me. I'll sit there and I'll listen and I'll observe. And I kind of just calm my energy, look around. And then people come to me because they're like, how are you so calm in all of this chaos? And why aren't you trying to go and take selfies over there? Why are you, like, what is going on? You're not behaving like the herd. And I think as well, like, it's not trying to be cool. It's not trying to say, oh, I'll take my time or make people wait for me, because I'd never make people wait for me because I wouldn't want to be late or cause an inconvenience. But it's just holding your own space and knowing I don't need to go running to the front screaming and shouting and demanding attention. I can just show up, be myself, handle it in my own way, even if other people don't behave that way, and then leave when I want to. It doesn't have to be hell. Like, it can really be so like a zoo. It's really bizarre to be in a room full of people who behave that way. And I think it only gets worse. It's kind of who shouts loudest gets the most. And I'm like, I don't do shouting. That's just not for me. So yeah, I guess finding what works for you and being true to yourself is really, really important. David says, what's your favourite food? That's a very good question. So I'm vegan. I eat a lot of Indian food, lots of rice, lentils, curry, spice. I had a massive chili obsession, where I'd have red chilies and I'd fry them in oil and then I'd put them into jars, and I would have maybe 7 or 8 chilies per meal, and my eyes would be streaming, my lips are burning. It's uncomfortable, but I was addicted and obsessed to the taste of chilies, the kind of metallic, it's just amazing. Even now I want to salivate. But yeah, I had to rein that back because I didn't want to cause digestive issues. But definitely rice, curry, dal, lots of salads, lots of soups. Everything is homemade, handmade, raw food, chopped up and cooked fresh. Food to me is love, and it's an extension of how we care for each other, how we show up for each other. I love cooking for my children. I love going to my parents and cooking a massive roast dinner and just taking care of the people I love. So yes, definitely that marries really closely for me with Indian cuisine, but minus as many oils and fats. I don't use ghee. I just cook with olive oil is my favourite thing to cook with. Scrolling your comments, guys. What is your favourite food and what makes you the most happy? Trying to catch up. I know I've talked so much, so I'm a little bit behind. So trying to find some comments that I can read out that are suitable. And also, I'm sorry if I've missed something that you've written. It's not my intention to cut anyone out or focus on anyone else. It's just trying to scroll through as many as possible before I have to dash out, as I have to hop on the train to my appointment. Scrolling. Ariane says, I love you, friends. So good luck. Please answer me. Thank you for joining. I hope you are well. There are some really random comments. Sohail says, hi and welcome. Fakuruddin says, hi, friend. Thank you for joining. I hope I said your name somewhat recognisably. Ben says, you are a strong person, Tracy. I wish I was strong like you. Oh, thank you, Ben. And do you know what? I never used to be strong. I was a doormat. I was a very silent child. As I've shared before, I had to have speech therapy to even speak because I was always mute. I always felt like an inconvenience. I was in multiple abusive relationships. Then I got to a point where I just could not take it anymore. I was always the underdog. I was always the person that was used and abused and taken advantage of. I am going through diagnosis for autism, which I have my ADHD combined type diagnosis. I think lots of people have ADHD these days, but as my son has autism and ADHD, he was diagnosed in primary school. I was never diagnosed, but it's obviously hereditary. And it does make you a very vulnerable, naive person. Certainly for my family, you can trace back the bloodline of those who are carriers, who have kind of passed that down through the generations. And so I was just the easy target. I was the person who, if you ask them to do something, yes, sir, right away, off I go and do it. No questions asked. I don't expect anything in return. I was a people pleaser. I was just bullied constantly and treated like crap. And, you know, a lot of people are in life when you don't have an ego and you don't have that kind of self-confidence to know that you deserve better, that self-love, you're not treated right. So you don't expect to be treated right. You've had no experience of it. You don't realise that you're missing out on actually respect and justice and love because that's all you've ever known is to lack that. I think after my second child was born at 25, that's really the turning point for me, where something inside of me, like the survival instinct, the mother in me, just said, I need to bury this person that I've always been, that I am a mother. I have to be strong and brave and fearless and relentless and protective. I had to be this lion rather than the lamb. And maybe it was an age thing, maybe it was the fact that I had 2 children and was a single parent. But I went through this massive wake-up call in life. I turned to bodybuilding, I got physically strong, I studied neurolinguistic programming, cognitive behavioral therapy, mindfulness-based stress reduction, all of these different neurolinguistics that would rewrite the way that we speak to ourselves, that we view ourselves, that we interact with others. I'd always been a philosophy and psychology student previously and loved how the mind works, looking at neuroplasticity, how we rewire these connections in our mind to go from a pessimist to an optimist, to go from saying no to everything to suddenly saying, hell yeah, I'm ready for this. And it really did change my life. And from that point, I just flourished. But I kind of had to break to then rebuild. And that was definitely a really difficult time for me in my early to mid 20s. But I feel like throughout life, we do go through moments where we feel like we can't take anymore, whether it's too much and we're not treated the way we deserve. We don't have the friendships, the relationships, the respect that we expect from a community, from a career, or anything and everything around us. We can feel just so unseen and so unheard. And it's then about saying, I'm not going to live this way. I'm not going to suffer on a daily basis and bite my tongue and feel less than. I'm going to take myself away from this and put myself in the environment that's right for me, in the relationships that are right for me, and heal from past pains. A lot of people kind of are still hurting over the past. And I will protect my children to the ends of the earth to stop them from experiencing what I experienced. But personally, I think it's made me into who I am today. And ultimately, I am thankful for that. I'm thankful for all of the horrible things that I've been through, because it's given me the ability to survive and to thrive. And I know that come hell or high water, wherever my life takes me, I will never go back to that. I will always take the harder, stronger route to ensure that I'm never treated that way again, and never in a place where I feel like I don't deserve or belong to being there. You know, I think once you've seen that, you can't unsee it. So I'm very thankful for that. And everybody wholeheartedly can achieve that. It's just a case of finding that catalyst, that point where you say, I deserve to live. And most people are just surviving, not thriving in life. And that's the difference, really. So scrolling your comments, guys, I am going to have to head off. But I just wanted to say thank you for joining me. Thank you for being a part of this morning's discussion. Jerry says, if those people are really happy within themselves, if they are living their lives to impress someone else, they are not themselves. Absolutely. And I kind of find it a vibe to rock up with frizzy hair and no makeup. And if people are kind and respectful to me, they're my kind of people. And if people say, oh, she hasn't done her hair, I think, that's the people I avoid. So it's a very good litmus test, I think, to show up less than perfect, less than societal norms and standards, as yourself, without apologizing or feeling inferior. And the people who accept you as you, rather than what they can take from you, rather than because they're physically attracted to you, if they just say, hey, I like your vibe, you're a nice person, spend time with them. And if they just look at you and say, oh, you're not in a ball gown, you don't belong here, step away, because we all know that as women, we can have your hair and makeup done and look $1 million. You can also rock a bikini on the beach with salt water in your hair and sunburn. We have very different extremes in our appearance. So if people don't accept you at your most natural, they will definitely never deserve to stand next to you on a red carpet. And yeah, just extend that into life, really. That's entirely how I feel. So thank you all for joining me today. I hope you have a lovely day, whatever you are doing, and be kind to yourself and others. I will see you all soon. Bye, guys.